witness the eclipse around my third eye. Happy Eclipse Day. Wow, I can't stop looking at that. Okay, let me stop. Peace and aloha, and welcome back to the palace, from my inner child to yours. It's been a little bit of time since I've made a video in my perspective, and that is because some interesting things have been happening to me, as I'm sure they've been happening to you. And I just wanted to get on here and talk about it before I continue on making the changes that I need to on this channel. I'm going to clean the camera a little bit because it looks dirty. Hold on one second. You can look at the trees. Oh, no you can't. I don't have my tripod, so I'm going to hold it so you can see this pretty view behind me. So I'm getting some arm exercise right now. But the last video I recorded, I was speaking on some of what I have been processing as far as being a projector in human design, and learning more about my design, and learning more about how I honor myself and how I don't honor myself. Just recently I've been learning a lot about Placidus versus whole sign house systems and how drastically it changes things for me. Then found this really awesome astrologer, Victor Astrology, who explained that he uses both, combines them for different purposes, which has been really enlightening. But the last time I spoke to you guys was about my, struggles as a human design projector. And not shortly after that, I started going through some, I guess what you could call ascension symptoms, a healing crisis, if you will. And I attribute a lot of that to oil pulling. Sorry, my arm is already really burning. I have to use my lefty for a minute. I started oil pulling, which I used to do a couple years ago, and then I stopped. Like most of us, we pick up something, we put it down sometimes, and then realize how important it is. And so about a month ago, maybe, I haven't really been keeping track of time like that. Recently, I started oil pulling every morning and night, and oil pulling pulls things to the surface. You just take some coconut oil, like a teaspoon, swish around in your mouth for 15 minutes to 20 minutes if you can. You spit it out, trash can, brush your teeth, rinse out your mouth, and go about your business. And so, sorry, I just ate. I think my throat still processing the meal. So I did that for maybe a week straight, and then one day, this is about to get a little TMI. One day, I was in the bathroom. Something told me to look in my throat, so I did. And in the back, where your tonsils are, I had a very scary experience. And I opened my mouth and I looked at my tonsils, and I had tonsil stones, which I have seen before but never did a lot of research on. My friend had them and told me what they were. She had to get her tonsils taken out. And then I looked in my throat and I was like, oh, let me look at mine. And then I saw one and I was like, oh my God, I actually, what? And I cleared it out, but I didn't realize I should have done further research on what they are, how they're caused, etc. and so on. And so when I opened my throat, and this is disgusts me to say, because I can't believe I even got to this point, but I opened my throat and I had stones all on this side, on my masculine side. And then there was one deep in the bottom. It was black and gray. And immediately you might want to say, oh my God, I'm dying, but I've acquired enough wisdom to know that that's not the smart thing to do or the healthy thing to do at all. So I said, okay. So I asked my body, and I asked Spirit, I was like, what is that? And they were like, oh, well, you're oil pulling, things are being pulled to the surface, and it's clearing and healing you where you need to be healed. And so I went immediately into the bedroom, and I was gonna look up, I was just gonna start doing some research, but something told me, instead of going on the internet first, to go to the oil pulling book. And I tried to look up tonsils in the glossary index in the back, whatever. And then I saw a healing crisis is one of the things. It said what to expect when you start oil pulling. So I went to that section, and it said a healing crisis. You can expect a healing crisis to occur, which was also in alignment with what was going on more specifically for the recent moon phases we've been going through. Do you need to go inside? Hold on one second. I'm dog sitting for my mom and he looks like he's hot. You want to go inside? Go ahead. Go ahead. I'll be in there in a second. Oops. Come on, Spider. So, I felt a little bit better after that experience. So I was like, oh, okay, it's just a healing crisis. I'm experiencing a healing crisis. And so from that point on, it had gotten sorry, let me try and, Mercury's about to go retrograde. So let me take a moment. I had already been experiencing issues with my throat chakra, for many years now, basically all of my life. And I've always felt like when I would sing that part of my throat was like this. Like, imagine if your throat is a circle, this side of the circle was like kind of not, instead of going like this, it was like that. And when I sang, it felt like sound wasn't coming out of that part of my throat. And that's something I noted a couple years ago, and of course just noted it and didn't do anything about it. And then I want to say I recently I had this snack that I would eat every night. It was like I eat only organic foods. I don't eat any processed sugars. I don't consume fluoride. I only drink reverse osmosis water. I do a lot of things to take care of my body. But I had this one snack at nighttime. It's a cereal, which is still organic and doesn't have any processed sugars or anything like that, but it's still processed. It's called Panda Puffs. I was obsessed with them. They were so good. They're so crunchy against the Oatly, and I'd eat that. And I started doing that every night instead of just being like, once in a while, let me have a bowl of cereal. I started doing it every night. And then accompanying that on top of also eating a lot of popcorn, because I worked in a movie theater for 7 years and there's always popcorn in the house, so I was always eating the popcorn. And then not even just physically but energetically, like not speaking my truth in the house, and something comes up and I want to say something but I don't, and I keep my mouth shut, or wanting to say something and then I'm being silenced and then my throat shuts down. So there were things happening energetically to my throat, there were things I was doing physically to my throat, and there was things happening mentally because I'm like thinking in my head of what I want to say and then I don't say it. So I don't want to cause disharmony. I don't want to, that's my Libra moon and my Jupiter in Libra in the 8th house, which I'm working on. And so my throat was finally done, and the oil pulling, I think, was the straw that broke it. And over the next week, I barely spoke, which was already very interesting for me because it made me realize how much I give my energy through sharing, through trying to speak or say something, or just like make light of a situation or say something funny. And to not speak is like I'm already like basically shut off from communicating with anyone, really. So for about a week I wasn't communicating. I was oil pulling every morning, in the afternoon, and every night. And then I looked up some of the things you're not supposed to eat to reduce tonsil stones. I watched so many videos about it, found out how it's caused, and then found out why it was getting even worse for me. Oh, there's a pretty butterfly. It's like blue, as I'm speaking about the throat chakra. I wish I could show you guys. And so then, and I'm saying all this just in case it helps somebody else, because my sister just messaged me today and told me she has tonsillitis. And I was like, what is going on? A lot of throat chakra stuff coming up. And so all these different types of foods that aren't good for it, what I should be eating instead, what I could do to remedy it. And then it also spoke, tonsils are, they clear out bacteria and things that come into your mouth. They help keep your body clean. They're connected to your lymph system, and I'm a splenic projector, and the spleen is connected to the lymph system. And I was just like, oh my God, I was uncovering a lot because of this experience. And so what was I going to say after that? Spleen, lymph. Oh, so then I looked up all these videos about what the tonsils are connected to, and it was speaking about when you have tonsillitis, things that can happen. And also for a couple of years, I haven't really been able to hear very well out of this ear because I went to a float tank and I didn't see earplugs. No one told me about earplugs, and I laid in it without earplugs, and it was like crunchy sounding in my ear for like a week. I kept trying to put water in and then get it out. I also didn't shower after the float tank, or I did shower after the float tank, but I didn't want to get my hair wet because I wasn't in my full natural phase or whatever I was in at that point in time. So I didn't want to get my hair wet, so I didn't put my ear in the water. So ever since then, my ear has kind of struggled. And it said, I've been already looking up things to clear out my ear passageway, because it said it could be the eustachian tube. Eustachian tube, I found out, connects to your tonsils. And I made a video, I recorded a video, I never posted it, about me doing my ear stuff about 2 months ago, and I got oregano oil and rubbed it around the ear. I was doing like different massages and like acupressure points to help the ear, and I was actually really sick for like a week and coughing up a lot of crazy colors because it seemed like there was an infection in my eustachian tube because it couldn't drain. And so the oil pulling, I feel, has also been lifting an infection from the eustachian tube coming out of my tonsils. So I say all of this, and it took me 11 minutes to say it. Thank you for still being here if you have not clicked away. And I have never seen my throat look like it does now, and that kind of trips me out too. My tonsils, first they were all the stones were on this side, and then the stones started coming out on this side after like maybe 2 days of noticing that side. So it was like a little 2 days later that this one, and the stones in this side of my tonsils, they came out pretty easily. These ones were more difficult on my feminine side. I stay very conscious of what side of the body it is and what it means. I already knew it was connected to something that was happening with my throat. And so in these recent days, it's been about a week and some change since this all happened, I like open my throat and I look, and I had never seen my I can't see my tonsils, and I could always open my mouth and see them. And I would even look in my partner's mouth sometimes to just like, I guess I would just like check. I would be like, oh, let me see in your mouth. And I'd be like, wow, it looks like there's nothing in there. Why does it look so empty? Not realizing that actually my throat was like too full. There's too much swelling and inflammation going on in my tonsils. And I kind of skipped a point, but the eustachian tube thing was a big thing, but also my adenoids. My mom even told me as a child that she thought I might have needed to get them taken out, but they seem to be enlarged. Sorry, wasp is interested in what I'm saying. They seemed to be enlarged. I went to an ENT because I'm not going to say I can't. I have observed for quite some time in my life that I have difficulty breathing through my nose. And I'm usually always smiling because I have to breathe through my mouth. And instead of just being slack-jawed and going like, I would smile and breathe. And so people always just think that I want to smile. I've already talked about this in another video. Digressing. So I went to the ENT. He said, oh, your adenoids look a little too large for your nose. Your nose is too small for the size that they are. So I recommend maybe take an allergy shot every day. I didn't want to put anything into my body every day. I wanted to do it naturally. So he still recommended I go get an allergy test. I went to go get an allergy test, and they put like a little panel all over my arm, all these needles, and then sent me home. They didn't keep me for observation. I went into anaphylactic shock. I had to go to the MD Express because I didn't have health insurance. Waited in the waiting room, thought I was gonna die. My throat was swollen up. They like brought some students in to look at my throat because my throat was creating a reaction that's rare and blah blah blah. Shot me with adrenaline, it didn't work. Shot me with adrenaline again, didn't work. So then they had to call an ambulance, take me to a real hospital. It was a lot. I'm not even explaining everything that happened to me, but my poor throat. So on my allergy list, it showed that I was like allergic to a lot of things. I remember a lot of things being highlighted, but I don't have that paperwork anymore. And I've also been going outside on high pollen days, so now I have to like kind of cover my face on high pollen days. And I want to like tell people so badly, I'm wearing this not because I'm afraid, not out of fear. I'm wearing this because of pollen in my poor throat and my adenoids. But my adenoids also attributed to my tonsils, because I can't breathe in my nose at night. I often sleep with my mouth open, which creates a dry environment, which creates more bacteria, which creates more of a breeding ground on your tonsils. So then, I think the days that it had gotten really bad, I was doing a lot of things accumulated because I was not speaking my truth, was not expressing myself. I was putting things into my mouth to cover up the fact that things weren't coming out of my mouth, is what I'm trying to get to. So I was eating a lot of popcorn, eating my cereal every night. I was also dehydrated because we went to go see Hamilton like the night before all of my throat stuff popped off, and you couldn't bring your own water, and I don't buy bottled water because it's not good for you. And so I didn't drink any water for a very long time, was super dehydrated, and then that night and the next day went outside to watch the kids play, and the guy was mowing his lawn, pollen was getting shot around, and that's when it all broke down. So that's why I haven't been on here and done anything or said anything. And I just recently made videos like, I'm about to get out here, I'm about to start doing what I feel called to do by spirit. I said all these things, and then spirit sat me down. Spirit sat me down and said, well, you're about to do what? Yeah, no, you're not. You're not about to do that. You're about to sit your butt down and heal yourself and take care of yourself. So that's what I've been doing. And I will make a video, so this one's not too long, speaking more about what my daily routine is like and how much I have had to change, and like, since I've become awakened, since I'm aware of my spiritual journey for the last couple of years, of all the things that I do every day or attempt to try and check off every single day to stay in alignment, to stay conscious, especially in environments where I don't feel maybe that it's a challenge to do so. So yeah, for those of you who have been following me, this is what's going on. And I am very grateful for that healing crisis and for finding all of the tools. My partner was super helpful. He would rub like all these different essential oils on this area. He helped me make a really awesome gargle, and I would gargle after every meal. I still gargle after every meal now, except for just before I made this video. I need to do that. Maybe that's when my throat was like so I'm doing a gargle. I made my own little tonsil drops with different types of essential oils, and yeah, just taking care of myself, and I trust that you are as well. Today is the eclipse day, and I guess I'll go ahead and say it. I have half a tab. If you know what that means, you know what that means. And I've had it for a minute now, and it's been a long time since I've partaken in that medicine. And something came up on my Reddit thread today about that, and it seemed like a good sign. I'm dog sitting, so no one is around me. I have a spot in nature to be in. I have a clear vessel. I have a list of the things I want to do, the things I want to review about for myself, my shadow, my light, ask myself questions. So I'm going to be doing that today on this eclipse day. Actually, shortly here. I have my water prepared. I have all my things prepared. I have a playlist prepared for if I'm able to just like listen to certain musics and sounds. Doing all those things too, just to kind of like fill you in before my next video, because it'll probably be on those things. So yeah, that's what's been going on. I am better now. My throat is better, much better than it's probably ever been in its entire life. And my main and final goal is for my adenoids. I'm trying not to do surgery, so we'll see what goes on with that. I've been working really hard to keep my mouth closed at night and try and breathe really deeply through my nose. I've been doing more breathwork videos, which has been helping. So yeah, thank you for listening. And this is just a quick check-in. Not really quick, but quick in perspective of everything that's really happened. Quick little check-in just to not keep you in the dark about me sharing what I was about to do some things and then clearly was not. So I will be back with you guys, or you, the person who's watching this, in the next one. And I'm wishing you a happy eclipse day. That's what it's going to be feeling like for the next 6 months. I'm wishing you a happy eclipse day. May all of the changes and things that are being shaken up in your life, may you receive them and understand and flow through them and know that it's for your highest good and that it's leading you to better things if you allow it to break things down that no longer serve you. And as always, I am sending you peace and aloha.